want you guys to have an amazing 2020, and I want your content to actually have purpose. So today I'm going to tell you the number one thing that you need to do when planning out your content in 2020. Hey guys, I'm Gwendolyn. I'm the content creator's best friend. I'm here to simplify content creation for you so that you can get back to what's most important in your business. Now, I teach a program where I show you how to create more content for more platforms with less effort. One of the main principles is planning out your content ahead of time. So I have a trick that I want you to keep in mind every time you're planning out your content, and we're going to dive into it right now. If you're excited, give me a thumbs up. Let's go. So when planning out your content, I want you to look at your content in the form of an entire year. I use the content planner, and you can get a link to it down below. It is fantastic for future planning, but I like looking at my content in an entire year form, and I break it up by quarters. So every 3 months, my content strategy changes a little bit. I'm able to tweak what's working. And that means I'm only doing that 4 times a year, which is fantastic. And I'm not having to spend a ton of time on that. But I'm going to share with you the one thing that has really sped up my content creation, but also that has made my content more purposeful and allowed me to sell more things, get more people into my trainings, get more people involved in what I'm doing. And it's all because of this one thing. So what is that one thing? When I look at my year at a glance and I'm looking at all the quarters, the first thing I do at the beginning of the year is I write down the big things. All the times I'm launching my course, all the times I'm launching other products, all the events I'm going to, I plan ahead for any times I'm taking a vacation or time off. So I am able to plan so far in advance for a lot of things. When it comes to conventions and being able to just attend conventions or speak at conventions, those types of things I can plan pretty far in advance for because they usually are really far in advance. So all those things get put on the calendar for the entire year. I know that far in advance what I am doing in my business. And because I know that, that means that I can offer better content for my audience, because not only are my paid services available to them when I'm talking about the content that they need to hear, but also I'm making freebies around that type of content. So I know what needs to be in there, not just for list building, but I am creating better value for my audience because I know in advance what is coming out for them in my business. So what this means for you is if there's a new service that you are providing to your audience, let's just pretend you're a video editor and you do all sorts of video editing for a specific audience, but you know in July you're going to be launching your new service of podcast editing. If you know that, you can get all the things in advance and you can start creating content around how valuable podcasts are. Maybe your audience is video creators and they just don't know the value of making their YouTube videos, adding another show by creating video and podcast at the same time. You can be their main service provider because you can break that content up for them. But they don't know that if you're not creating content around that, and they're going to look for someone else when they do decide that that's for them. Maybe you're a coach and a course creator and you know that your course is coming out 3 times in a year, so you pick those dates already. Put them on the calendar. When you know that those are happening 6 to 8 weeks in advance, you should be creating content, putting that seed in their mind where you're regularly meeting with them and showing them content around whatever's inside your course. Let's just say it's a wedding planning course, planning a wedding on a budget. What are they going to learn inside the course? What are some of the modules that you're breaking it up into? And how can you turn that into free content for your audience? Because if those seeds are planted in their mind of how things should go and how days have gone for other brides, then you can start saying, if you want this experience too, grab my course when you're finally ready to launch it. So the number one thing that you need to remember for 2020 planning for your content is you can plan as far in advance as you want. And if you think this is a struggle and you just don't know how to do that, start thinking about promotions that you can do for your evergreen stuff. If it is evergreen, you can make sure that some of your content is building up to something special. Maybe that evergreen content got a special new module in there that wasn't there before. Make sure that's part of a new launch. There's so many ideas that you can have for this, but just make sure that you are planning far enough in advance. One of my major goals for next year is to take off from Thanksgiving on to New Year's. And I plan on doing that in my business without having it affect my bottom line. And that's because I am planning ahead with all my launches, with all my content. I didn't have a lot of time this year for my family during this holiday season, but I also didn't have as much time as I wanted for my 2020 planning. And I don't want that next year. I want to be able to plan ahead and assess how the year went and create new goals and be prepared for 2021. So that's one of my main goals of next year, and I've already got it on my content plan, knowing that back in July, I need to be ready to have all of this content batched and be ahead of the game so that I can be in a place where I can take that much time off from business. If you are just watching this now and we're a couple months into 2020, don't worry, you're not behind. You can still plan really far in advance. Start thinking about how you want your business to look. Who do you want to be reaching? And do you want your next launch to be bigger than it's ever been? Plan pretty far in advance. And to do that, just start thinking about what's going to make that launch special, even if you have evergreen content or services. I hope this was encouraging, and I can't wait to see you guys next week.